been dead right on your predictions in terms of the movement of this cryptocurrency. But you do understand how much risk you're taking on here, don't you?
Well, the risk of holding dollars is you're losing 1 to 2% of your purchasing power per month with 100% certainty. So that's the position we got ourselves into with the monetary policy. I think it's pretty clear. If you've got a decentralized crypto asset network with more than 150 million holders, that's adding 2 million to 3 million people a week, running on tens if not hundreds of thousands of computers in every jurisdiction in the world, I mean, there's something solid there. I mean, Bitcoin is an idea that's worked. It might have been risky 10 years ago, but how long do you have to watch something spread like an idea virus before you decide that maybe it's going to be around for a while? I think everybody in Bitcoin's got the same objective. There's a little bit of skittishness in the market because this thing trades 24/7, 365 on tweets. And so sometimes you get volatility, but at the end of the day, I think we've got a good plan and everybody's aligned on that plan.
All right, even though Elon Musk, and I realized he deleted the tweet, referred to you as GigaChad, apparently, on the platform.
How it feels to be a cryptocurrency investor this week. But if you think you have it bad, Michael Saylor has lost billions of unrealized profits off both his Bitcoin investments and MicroStrategy stock plunge. You know it's bad when even the Pope chimes in on the Bitcoin environmental issues on Twitter. In this video, Michael Saylor breaks his silence on the 55% Bitcoin crash, reacts to Elon Musk calling him GigaChad on Twitter, which he quickly deleted, and then speaks on where he thinks Bitcoin will head from here. Make sure to stick around to the end of the video where we cover some finally bullish Bitcoin on-chain data that has just come out. Also, only a tiny percentage of my viewers are actually subscribed. If you enjoy crypto content, consider subscribing. It's free and you can always change your mind. Enjoy the video.
All right, given the fact that we have seen this wild week, what does this week's price action prove to you?
I think the big picture, if you look over the last 12 months, is March 12th of 2020, we had $2 billion of trading on Binance and the price was around 5,000. And August 10th, when my company entered the entire Bitcoin market, we had $1 billion of trading on Binance and the price was around 11,000. May 18th, biggest day maybe ever for Bitcoin, we had $13 billion traded with the price around 37,000. I think what those stats tell you is that Bitcoin's coming to life. It's an institutional grade safe haven asset. And although there's volatility, the volatility is the price you pay for it to be 10x outperforming the S&P index over a decade and be outperforming NASDAQ and S&P by a factor of 8 in the last 12 months. I
want to get into that a little bit more, but first, did Elon Musk help trigger the sell-off we've seen?
You know, Elon's enthusiastic about Bitcoin, and probably he's just as enthusiastic as I am. He's also enthusiastic about renewable energy and making the environment green, and he'd like to be part of that solution, and he'd like for the Bitcoin community to work with him. And so I think everybody in Bitcoin's got the same objective. There's a little bit of skittishness in the market because this thing trades 24/7, 365 on tweets. And so sometimes you get volatility, but at the end of the day, I think we've got a good plan and everybody's aligned on that plan.
All right, even though Elon Musk, and I realized he deleted the tweet, referred to you as GigaChad, apparently, on the platform.
Yeah, well, you know, the cyber hornets, they come up with colorful nicknames for all of us.
All right, so I want to get into the fact that MicroStrategy stock, for better or worse, basically trades in lockstep with Bitcoin, given the fact that you do have billions on the balance sheet in the cryptocurrency. In many ways, it kind of overshadows the fact that you do have this recovery afoot in your actual core business, which is business intelligence, given the fact that we saw double-digit revenue growth the last quarter. You're expanding into cloud offerings as well. Does that frustrate you, or do you see the fact that you're being, at least by investors, viewed as a Bitcoin holding company, part of a longer-term vision?
You know, I step back and always look at the big picture. If you look at it from minute to minute, day to day, you'd be frustrated. But we're up by a factor of 4x over 12 months. Our shareholders are delighted. Our employees are delighted. As I say, sometimes Bitcoin fixes everything. Our last 2 quarters were 2 of the best quarters in a decade for the software business. And the corporate brand's been amped up by probably a factor of 1,000 or more. So it's great for our core enterprise software business. Everybody wants business intelligence, and I think it's great for Bitcoin, and it's been great for the MicroStrategy shareholders. I mean, in March, they were looking at a $90 stock. So if you look at it from that point of view, nobody's complaining.
Yeah, and I get that. And I get we've seen the gains despite the volatility this week in Bitcoin. But when you have analysts describing anywhere from 2/3 to 4/5 of your enterprise value to the Bitcoin that are in your treasury right now, rather than that core business, how much can those synergies actually continue to contribute to the core business, even if you do see prices come off in Bitcoin even more aggressively?
We got two strategies. One is to grow the software business, and marketing is key to that. So the fact that, I now have 1 million Twitter followers makes it easier for me to deliver the company's business intelligence message to the world. And then the Bitcoin strategy is to acquire more Bitcoin. The company, has not financed its enterprise software cash flows. So the business intelligence software company is a financeable asset in the open market. So I feel like we've got a great synergy because the business intelligence software is stable, and it would be viewed as a value stock were it not for the fact that we bolted on a dominant digital monitoring network that's growing more than 100% a year. I think that both of them work together well. And MicroStrategy is unique because we're the only publicly traded company that has the credibility to go to the capital markets and raise debt where the use of proceeds is Bitcoin.
Yeah, it certainly is what makes it attractive to folks such as yourself, the so-called Bitcoin bulls. It's also why it's getting increased scrutiny from governments, though, right? You've got the Fed taking a closer look at digital currency, the Treasury saying it's ratcheting up its scrutiny, especially on the tax front. Are these not risks for your company?
I think they're non-issues because when you have an inflationary environment, money decomposes into currency, which is the medium of exchange, and then store of value, which is the asset, which is the store of value. Bitcoin is an asset. It's regulated as an asset, taxed as an asset, designated as an asset. The government's, said nothing anywhere in the world. In China, in Iran, in Europe, in the U.S., people are holding this as assets. I think that the banks, their view is they don't want you to challenge a currency like the US dollar, and they want you to pay taxes when you transfer your assets. So for the Treasury Department to say, if you transfer more than $10,000 of Bitcoin, and oh, by the way, you got to pay taxes when you transfer or sell it, that's a totally non-event because that's been the status quo with every asset in the country forever. This is just legitimizing Bitcoin as the apex asset, the best one. And I think it's good for the industry. Is
there a price at which that you would actually realize some of those unrealized gains in Bitcoin for your company?
My view, and I've said it, is Bitcoin is the apex property of the human race. If I had $1 billion and I buy a building in New York City, I can't move it. If I buy $1 billion of Apple stock, it has no tangible value outside of the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ. I can't move it. I can't move sovereign debt around. Bitcoin, if you own $1 billion of Bitcoin, it's available to trade in any currency on any exchange anywhere in the world. I can move it to 1 million different counterparties, and I can take personal custody. And that makes it the highest form of property rights. There's no reason that makes it the least likely thing to be impaired. There's no CEO to screw it up, no board of directors to screw it up. The mayor of New York can't tax it. If the governor of California wants to put a property tax on it, Bitcoin can move to Wyoming, but your building can't move to Wyoming.
Just real quick before we end, and even the Chinese, who are once again, and that's why Bitcoin seems to be lower this morning, reiterating that call for a crackdown on Bitcoin mining, even that doesn't impact it?
No, because Bitcoin mining moves to the political jurisdictions that are most welcoming. And Kentucky and Texas would love to have Bitcoin mining. And Iceland and Norway needs Bitcoin mining. So it's an anti-fragile, decentralized system. The miners are going to move to where they can find the cheapest, cleanest energy and the jurisdiction where the political environment is most supportive. And that's what makes it such a brilliant creation.
The risk of holding dollars is losing 1 to 2% per month with 100% certainty. Volatility is the price you pay for it to be 10x outperforming the S&P index over a decade. I think those tweets perfectly sum up the big picture idea of the Bitcoin investment. If the dip is freaking you out at the moment, take a look at the big picture idea. Now, finally, some recent bullish on-chain data has come out regarding Bitcoin, out from on-chain analyst William Clement. He has let us know that finally exchange flows for Bitcoin have now flipped to bullish, as for the past week, Bitcoin has been flowing onto exchanges, which is historically a very bearish sign. Out from Glassnode, this could be contributed by the uptick of institutional buying during the latest dip. Here we can see a huge bump in Bitcoin buys from OTC desk wallets. So that's what the smart money has been doing. Anyway guys, hope you enjoyed today's video and that provided you with some value. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, have a great day.